Hello and welcome to Faithfully Stampin' with Jennifer Helm. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And today I have for you a fold-out gift card holder. This was inspired by Patty Bennett, who has made this project several times over the years. And I was looking for a gift card holder to make, and this is a very simple one. There are two options for you to make it, but I'll show you this one first. It has a ribbon closure, which you can skip if you don't want. We'll talk about that later. And then it folds open. And let's see, I forgot to grab my gift card. My gift card fits right here in the little pocket. I have space for my message on the back, but it's got a little secret to it. When you flip it over, it's got a beautiful design on this side too. So it's just a little extra pretty here to go with your gift card holder. Now, I mentioned there are two ways to make this gift card holder. The first is to use Memories and More cards. And what that is a selection of cards that Stampin' Up! Has to offer. I am using the Dandy Garden Memories and More cards. And they are, it's 50 cards. Some are 3x4, as you see here. And then we also have cards that are 4x6. So you get a pack of 50 cards in those two sizes, and you will also get 4 sticker sheets too. So these are the Dandy Garden cards from our January to June catalog. Now, if you don't have a pack of the Memories and More cards, it's okay. All you need is some designer series paper, and I'll coach you through that as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. You will need a paper trimmer and scorer. So I'm going to bring mine over and extend my cutting arm because I do need it a little bit wider. And to start, I have a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock that is 8.5 by 11. And so I wanted to show you how to cut this to get the most bang for your buck for this project. So I'm going to have my 8.5-inch side to the top, and I'm going to slide it to the 4 1/4 mark and cut it in half. I'm going to take this half and set it to the side just for a moment. Then I'm going to pivot my cardstock so that 11-inch side is at the top, and I'm going to cut at 5.5. So I'll have 2 equal pieces. One of them I can set aside for another project. This is going to be the base for our gift card holder. And now we're going to create the fold-out piece. So take that other half of cardstock and slide it into your paper trimmer. I'm going to pull it over to 9 3/4, and then I'm going to cut that. So I have another little sliver to save for another project. And now we're going to score. So I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way, and we are going to score twice. Once at 3 1/4 and once at 6.5. And then I'm going to do one more piece of cutting before I move my cutter out of the way. So I told you our base is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and I want to put a layer of either designer series paper or my Memories and More cards on the back. Now you can see, obviously, this is too big for my paper because it's 4x6, so I'm just going to cut it down to the right size. And I'm going to cover it up so you're not going to be able to see these words here. If you don't have Memories and More, just cut yourself a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to trim this down to 5 1/4. I'm going to save this for another project. I'm always saving scraps of cardstock and designer series paper to use. I hate to waste anything. So first thing, I'm going to take some adhesive. I recommend a very strong adhesive for this project because you don't want it to pull apart. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. This is our sturdy adhesive, which is great for 3D projects. You can use it for regular projects as well, scrapbooking and card making. It's actually my favorite adhesive, and I don't know if you can see very well in the light, but it has segmented pieces of tape as opposed to our Stamp and Seal, which is just one solid run of tape. And this is just my preference. They both work very well, although mine are notoriously camera shy, but that's okay. Now, before we glue our Z-fold holder down, I have another layer of cardstock that I'm going to put on. This is 3.5 by 4.5. So I'm just coordinating all my colors here, Bumblebee and the Misty Moonlight. And so I'm going to glue this down, and as I mentioned, I totally covered up the middle of that Memories and More card. So now I'm going to take the Z-fold piece that I created, and I'm just going to fold a Z out of my cardstock, and my bone folder has taken a walk off my craft table. Well, okay, I'm going to use my finger bone folder. If you have a bone folder, you can burnish your edges here. Mine has totally disappeared. It's probably sitting right under my nose, but that's okay. So now I am going to attach the fold-out piece to my base. If you want your Z-fold to open to the left, you'll glue it with this panel on the top. If you prefer it open to the right, just turn it over before you glue it down and it'll open to the right. Your choice. Now, one other thing I wanted to share with you. Ooh. I've got things flying everywhere. Ah, and I found the bone folder. I told you it was hiding. For this gift card holder, I put my ribbon underneath the Z-fold panel. I actually put it under that backing and my Z-fold. For this sample, I'm just going to do my Z-fold. If you don't want to attach it underneath your Z-fold panel, you can wait till the end and just tie it around the whole outside. It's totally up to you. You can even leave the ribbon off if you want. So I am going to use the ribbon for this. I have about 22 inches. It's probably a little bit more than I need, but I typically struggle with tying bows, so I like to give myself a little extra room so I can tie the bow and then trim the edges. You can put the ribbon wherever you like, right across the center, or I've decided, since I'm using this Memories and More card, that I'm going to put it a little bit towards the bottom so as to not cover up that design right across the middle. So I just folded my ribbon in half so I can about find the center point. I'm going to tack just a little bit of adhesive down and then position my ribbon, unfold it, and then I'm going to glue my Z-fold right on top. Now I'm going to use a little bit more adhesive than I normally would. I tend to be a bit of a tape hound, I guess. I like lots of adhesive. I'm trying to break myself of that habit, but for this, I really don't want this Z-fold panel to pull off the front of my card, so I'm going to go a little crazy with the adhesive. And then I'm going to place this right over top of my ribbon and press it down. I'll give the whole thing a little press with my bone folder since it's reappeared. Now all I have to do is decorate. So I showed you those Memories and More cards that I'm going to use, but if you're thinking I don't have any of those, it's okay. Designer series paper just like this would be perfect, and you just need to cut it 3 inches wide by 4 inches tall. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue my front piece on. I can use a little less adhesive. There we go. There's a little trick if you flick your wrist a little bit. It saves your panels or your adhesive from getting stuck. So here's the front panel. And then I'm going to open it up to the inside and put on my bumblebee piece. This is going to go here on my middle panel. And apparently I had another Memories and More card walk off. Must have run away with my bone folder. So I'm going to come back to this panel in just 1 second. So bear with me. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to decorate these 2 panels now. So again, adhesive here. And these obviously aren't going to be seen all that much, but it just gives a really nice presentation. This is a beautiful gift card holder. It's a great way to use designer series paper. And you could repeat patterns if you wanted. You don't really have to have 5 different panels of paper. It's totally up to you how you want to design it. All right, so back to the inside, and looking to see if my designer series, or if my missing card is here. Let's see here. Wait, nope. Okay, it's totally walked off on me, but that's okay. I'm going to not use that one. You know what? I think I'm going to use that. That's cute. Sorry for the disorganization. I'll probably find that missing card as soon as I finish this video. That's usually what happens. No problem. And I know you're thinking, that totally is crooked, isn't going to look right. Well, guess what? I'm going to cover it up so we won't even be able to tell. Designing on the fly. So there's my last panel. Again, 3x4 is the size. If you don't have those ready to go Memories and More cards. Those Memories and More card packs, by the way, are great for scrapbooking because you can just slip them into a pocket. And a lot of them have journaling boxes or just things that are appropriate to put in a scrapbook. But you can also make a lot of cards very quickly with them as well. I am more of a card maker than a scrapbooker, but lots of flexibility here. If I start scrapbooking, these will be what I use. So now I'm going to take this label so I have somewhere to write. This is actually a die cut from the Tasteful Labels die set that we have. So I'm going to take some adhesive and just glue this down right there in the middle. Now I've covered that card up and I have a beautiful little space to write a small message. So now I need to put my pocket in for my gift card. So I have one of my Memories and More cards. I cut it in half, so this is 2x4. Again, if you don't have the Memories and More card pack, take a piece of cardstock that's 2x4 and you're going to create a pocket. And if you have cardstock and you don't want it to be blank, just cut another piece of designer series paper to layer inside. I'll show you that in one of my samples. This is the one piece on this card that I do not want to use my Stampin' Seal Plus one. Like I said, I love it. It's my favorite. But I want something extra sturdy and a little bit thinner than my adhesive to attach this pocket. So I have tear and tape. This is great for 3D projects as well. And so I'm going to line the edges of the piece that I want to use for my pocket. Now my favorite trick I learned recently, pardon my reach, is to take a clear block and I'm going to slide it over to the edge of my panel here, my cardstock, and I'm going to pull my tape off. And now I have a nice, beautiful, clear edge, clean edge to work with. I learned this recently and it's like the coolest thing since sliced bread. It's so much easier than trying to tear the tape and get it to tear where I want. It tears where I want every time. So one more. And you don't want to use a great big wide tape. This tear and tape is the perfect width because you can still get your gift card to fit in your pocket. You see, you've got just enough room to slip it in there. And I'm not advertising for that craft store. That just happens to be the only gift card that I could find. So now I'm going to burnish this with my bone folder. I typically don't do this, but what I found for this gift card packet is, in doing so, that tape is really pressed on there, so it's not going anywhere. And then when I go to pull the edges off, or the backing off the tape, it usually comes up pretty easily. So I probably ought to start burnishing it more often. So now, bring my gift card holder back over and just line it up on that middle section where you want your pocket. Press it down. I'm going to give it another little burnish here. Just make sure it's not going anywhere. And now what I'm going to do is finish with a little decoration. For this card, I'm going to pull over some of the stickers that came with the Memories and More pack. And I kind of had Mother's Day in mind, but I didn't want the entire thing to say Happy Mother's Day. So I'm going to use the sticker that says With Love. So it would be perfect for Mother's Day or a birthday or any other special occasion. And I could just stick it flat here at the top, but I decided I wanted to pop this piece with dimensionals. I just wanted a little something on this gift card holder. So what I'm going to do, so that I can pop it up with dimensionals, is stick it on a scrap of cardstock, grab my scissors, and I'm just going to trim right along the edge. So keep in the same shape. But this way I don't have the sticky on the back from the sticker. Hopefully you guys are following me there. And so once I've got this trimmed down, just going to trim a little more on this edge. So now you really can't even tell that it was a sticker to start with. Now I'm going to grab my dimensionals and slide them. Actually, I'm going to use smaller ones. It's a little more narrow than I thought. And I love it. We have large dimensionals and mini dimensionals. Great for any project. So I'm just going to put 3 on there so it's nice and sturdy and not going to sag in the middle. And then I'm going to pop this right here at the top. So now I have just a little bit of dimension here on the front. Now I'm going to flip that open, and I've decided I'm going to use a couple stickers on the inside. I'm going to put a little bumblebee over here, pull that together, and pop a little flower sticker here at the bottom. And then I want a little something here on this pocket as well. So let's see. I'm going to use a big flower sticker. I love these because you can just decorate a card so quickly. And I have plenty of pieces left over to use on other projects. And there we go. So I'm not going to decorate this because it's not going to be seen as much as that inside panel. But now I can close it up and tie a bow. And then this will be ready to go. And I forgot to mention, and I would just trim my ribbon edges. I'm not going to do that quite yet since this isn't ready to go to a recipient. But these will fit in a standard card envelope. They will be thicker, so I kind of don't recommend mailing it. You would definitely need some extra postage. But since it is a little thicker, I might just hand deliver this to the recipient if that's possible. So just something to keep in mind if you're making this gift card holder. So I want to show you a couple other options. I made one more card with the Memories and More card pack. This one I tied the ribbon around the whole thing, so that'll just come right off. This one is a little bit different color, has the Calypso Coral Flirty Flamingo going on. Here's my little gift card pocket here. This one I just kept the stickers flat, and here's my sentiment space to write in. And there's that reverse side. So these gift card holders go together so quickly and are just so beautiful. My husband told me they really were works of art. Isn't he sweet? Now this one, I did not use the Memories and More card pack. I used the Designer Series paper from the Dandy Garden Suite, which looks a lot like those Memories and More packs. Same colors, a lot of the same themes, but this is actually Designer Series paper that I just cut 3x4. So on this one, I took some stitch shapes from our Stitch So Sweetly die set. did for you, and I don't know if you can see it. See the little ladybug? These little brass ladybugs are to die for. I just attached it with a glue dot. Those little embellishments are fun. So here's the reverse side. I love these colors. This Blackberry Bliss is one of my favorites. And I will admit, this paper was not my favorite when it first came out, but it is growing on me by leaps and bounds. And then this, I used one of our Stitched So Sweetly scalloped rectangles to use for my sentiment piece. I did stamp Happy Mother's Day here. And I cut my designer series paper 3x4, but since I didn't have one of those memories and more cards to use here, I just cut a piece of cardstock that was 2x4, attached it as my pocket, and then I just cut a piece of designer series paper to fit right there on the envelope. And I decided not to embellish this one so much. Let the paper speak for itself. I think this is probably my favorite one. Although that Misty Moonlight that we demonstrated here, right here, this is a close second. And last but not least, well, I forgot to mention, I did stamp my envelope with my dragonfly, so this is all ready to go and be coordinated. I did make a Christmas gift card holder. This one, I took a piece of designer series paper and covered my envelope flap so everything coordinates. And I took some retired designer series paper and just created this sweet little card. So you can make these for any occasion. You don't have to put it in an envelope. You could just tie it up and give it to someone as a present. Here's my little gift card pocket here. I used one of the stitched rectangles. And then again, there's my space to write a little message. So I hope you enjoyed this fold-out gift card holder inspired by Patty Bennett. I thank you so much for tuning into this YouTube video. I do videos here twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, and I would love it if you would press that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel for more crafting videos. Also, if you are a fan of Facebook, you can find me on Facebook as The Faithful Stamper. I do live videos there Mondays and Fridays and also talk about lots of other projects and workshops, and I'd be happy to have you follow me there. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the gift card holder. Take care. Happy crafting.